Okay, so I'm going to start by just sort of explaining what the Career Pathways Grant is. It is funding from EEC. It goes directly to the colleges, and then from the colleges, it goes to students like you for your coursework, your textbooks, and other types of services. So it's not some of the colleges, and we'll talk more about this, you apply for the grant. Some of the colleges you don't, but the colleges apply for the grant from EEC. So you can see here's a map of the Commonwealth, and each community college represented there covers a certain part of the Commonwealth. So you can see in purple, green, and blue, we are down in the southeast with Massasoit, Bristol, and Cape Cod Community Colleges. And the reason this map is important is because we encourage everybody to attend the college that's local to them. And we'll go into some of these reasons why it's important to choose a college that you can get to their campus in a few minutes. And if you don't know which community colleges would be your local community college, I'm happy to help you with that. So I have an old slide in here that we're going to skip. Just telling you which colleges are joining us tonight. So what does the EEC Career Pathways Grant provide? So when you become a Career Pathways college student, you have a whole bunch of ways that the Career Pathways coordinator will help you. You'll get support with selecting the class that's best for you to take and getting enrolled in that class. You'll get grant-funded college-level courses that you can use toward EEC certification, so toward teacher, lead teacher, or director certification, and beyond. If you want to go beyond your EEC certification and continue taking courses, you could work towards a college-level certificate. And then if you wanted to work toward an associate's degree, the grant would help you apply for the ECE scholarship, which would then fund you for an associate's degree. So you really do have the opportunity to get a pretty complete pathway. Textbooks, tutoring services, mentoring, career counseling, library access, food pantry access, all of the supports that exist on a community college would be available to you too. So there's a lot of benefits to getting involved with career pathways. Are you eligible for career pathway services? It's pretty easy to be eligible to qualify. So you need to have an active PQR registry, which you should all have if you're working in the field, in your personnel file. You need to live and work in Massachusetts. You need to be employed for at least 20 hours a week at an EEC licensed or funded program. Or if you're not yet working, if you agree to and intend to work at a program within 6 months, you can have eligibility for career pathway services. So if you have friends that aren't yet in the field but want to get into the field and want to become certified, they would qualify too. And if you are a recent or future graduate of a high school program, you're also eligible. There are some terms and conditions of participation that you must agree to. You have to agree to complete the course, to participate in any supports that help you be successful in the course. You have to remain employed while you're taking the course. You have to agree to remain in the field for at least 1 year after completing the course. And then there's some information that you share through the registration process with the college. And each college is a little bit different. So there are some other requirements as requested by the college that you choose. Some colleges require to see your high school diploma, or if you have a transcript from other college classes. You must be in good financial and academic standing in the community college system. And some colleges require you to fill out a application to the college. And once you get connected with your college, you'll find out exactly what it is that you would need to provide. And I should say, you're welcome to put questions in the chat, but I won't be able to check the chat until I'm done sharing my screen. But there will be time to answer your questions at the end. So getting started, when you're choosing a community college, it's really important, like I said, to choose one that's close to where you live or work. some classes may be online, but if you decide to continue further with your education, you may come across a class that's in person and you want to have access um, to that class. We were just talking before this meeting started about a student who started her classes at a college that was not close to her. And she was just going to take one or two classes and they were online and it was no problem. She got really interested. She wanted to keep going. She needs to do a practicum and now she's having a really hard time because the college where the practicum supervisors are is far from where she lives and works. And so it's really an issue. So you never know what you're going to want to do in the future. So it's really important to kind of be thinking about the big picture. Also, if you want to use the library, the tutoring center, the food pantry, the career center, all that stuff on campus that you have access to, you'll want to be able to get to the college. You want to make a connection at the college so you have somebody who you can talk to, ask questions to, and whatnot, so that you can really get the most out of your experience. However, if you have previously taken classes at a different community college, you're going to want to return to that community college and continue taking classes there. A lot of times people who jump around from college to college will end up taking the same class more than once because it has a different name at more than one college, or they'll collect a whole bunch of credits from different colleges but can't use them towards a degree because they're from too many different colleges. So it's not really a program that's designed to have you just jump around to find the class that you want. It's really designed to help you establish a relationship with a college. And of course, if you need classes in a language other than English, not all of the colleges have that yet. So you'll want to select a college that offers courses in the language that you speak and choose to learn in. And I can help you find that college. Very soon it will be up on our website, our webpage, which colleges offer classes in what languages. It's not updated yet, but I have that information and I'm happy to share it with anybody who reaches out to me. So then what? Now that you've chosen your community college, you're ready to get enrolled. So you'll want to send an email to the Career Pathways Grant Coordinator at the college that you identify. All of this information is on our newly updated webpage, and I'll put that in the chat when I get a moment. So you can identify your college, you can get the contact information for the coordinator at the college, and then you'll want to reach out to that person via email, and you'll want to wait to hear a response. It's really important that educators take this step themselves. I know directors are really invested in supporting their staff and getting their staff certified to meet EEC requirements and licensing requirements. And as a former director, I support you and encourage you to continue to support your staff. But it's really important that each staff member who wants to take a class does this step on their own. They're going to need to provide personal information. They're going to need to provide transcripts. It's really, really important. And it's a big commitment to take a class. So it's really helpful if the educator speaks directly to the grant coordinator, finds out exactly what's going to be involved in participating in the class. At one time, there was funding from EEC for directors to set up some cohort classes directly with colleges if they had a bunch of educators who needed the same class. We are moving away from that. There were a multitude of reasons why those cohorts were not successful. And we find that it's much more successful for the student to apply to the college and get invested. If a director has more than one educator that needs the same class, they can certainly apply to the same college together. Okay, some important things to remember as you think about what choice you want to make next. Remember that you may be asked for a copy of your high school diploma or college transcript, so it's good to have that handy. We encourage you to reach out to only one college at a time. There's a lot of time and effort and work that goes into enrolling a student. It includes transcript review, It includes a lot of paperwork, and it's really difficult and takes resources away if you apply to multiple colleges at the same time. A lot of a lot of grant coordinators will be working on your behalf, and you're only going to be able to end up and go to one college. So we encourage you to reach out to one college at a time. Like I said before, it's really important to return to a college where you've already taken classes. It's also really important to note that classes start at the beginning of each semester, September, January, and May, that classes are not offered on demand. Colleges are beholden to their registrar for when they can start their classes. So even if they have a lot of students who want to take a class starting in the middle of March, they're not able to do that. So sometimes there's some waiting involved. There's been a really high demand lately for classes. So grant coordinators are working really hard to try to make sure everybody gets the class that they need. But it's really, so these classes enroll almost a season before they start. So if you want to start a class in September, probably in May or June, you should be getting enrolled in that class or finding out when enrollment is. If you want to take a class that starts in January, in October, November, you should be reaching out and finding out the timeline. If you want to take a class in May, it's just about right now, February, March, when those classes are enrolling. That's considered the summer semester. So you do have to think ahead. And directors, it's important also for you to think ahead when you're thinking about your staff. So if you hire someone and you know they're going to need child growth and development within 6 months or at a certain point in time, it's never too early to reach out, help that educator reach out and start getting connected with a college so that they can know when the enrollment cycle is coming up. And also, it's really important before you enroll to prepare yourself by making sure that you understand the time commitment that's needed for the coursework, both inside and out of the classroom. There's going to be time committed to the class and to your homework. It's important to review each course description and make sure you know on your calendar when important dates are, registration deadlines, and seek support from the grant coordinator. I have a daughter going off to college this fall, and I told her, don't wait till you're struggling in your classes. Reach out to your instructor right away from the beginning, and you all have the benefit of having a grant coordinator there to help you, connect you with support services, tutoring services, writing center, whatever you may need. So it's actually relatively easy to get started. And I am going to turn it over now to Heidi Campbell from Bristol Community College, and she's going to tell you a little bit about what you can get at Bristol.
Thank you, Sarah. Good evening, everyone. So I just also wanted to mention I am also joined with by Amy Dodenhoff, who is the clerk for the Career Pathways Grant Program at Bristol Community College as well. She's relatively new to our department, so I know that some folks may not know the name just yet, and I just want to make sure that everyone does get to know her who is associated with Bristol. So I'd like to start off by mentioning we do offer a variety of courses each semester, which can be used towards your certification requirements. Our courses at Bristol are fully online asynchronous options, meaning that there's no specific times that you need to be logged into the course space, and instead assignments can be done at your own pace, just within the specified due dates, which the instructors would relay to everybody. Dependent on the semester and course itself, we do offer both full semester and half semester options. Our half semester courses are fast-paced, accelerated courses with the nature of these courses sorry, I just skipped a line. I do apologize. Accelerated courses with the full semester's worth of material being covered within that half time of the semester itself. Due to the fast-paced nature of these courses, as well as limited space available, we do ask that each participant only enroll in one course at a time during any given semester, as well as follow the proper course progression, which reflects the prerequisites which are needed, especially for our upper level courses. If you're looking to obtain your CDA credentials, we can assist you with building your portfolio, supply you with portfolio materials, as well as even cover the cost of the exam fee. Our grant-funded courses are also stackable and can be applied towards our certificates and/or our degree options within our early childhood education department. And here's just a list of some of our commonly offered courses that we do run through various semesters. And if I could just have you switch over to the next slide, Sarah. Thank you. And so if anybody who's looking to obtain some additional information, I would ask you to first click on the first link, which would be to complete our interest form, which Amy has also dropped into the chat for everyone. We are currently finalizing our summer course schedule at this time. But if you would like to be considered for classes, which begin in June for our summer semester, that would be the second link listed on the slide, as well as Amy just dropped that additional link in for everyone into the chat. On the summer form, we do ask that you indicate which courses that you have completed, as well as which course it is that you are looking to enroll in. Summer form submissions will assist us with ensuring that we are scheduling courses that are in the most need at this time. Additional information can be found on our website, along with some helpful links. And I also would like to state, please be on the lookout for our updated website, which will be released soon, that will outline some new streamlined procedures which will be implemented beginning in the fall semester, including a new application process rather than being primarily just submission form based as it is currently. And as always, any questions, please feel free to email me at heidi.campbell@bristolcc.edu. We look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Heidi. I have a quick question for you. So your classes are all online and asynchronous. So if somebody wanted to continue towards a certificate or an associate's and they might need a practicum, would there be an in-person component that they would have to be available for at some point?
There would be, yes, through the department requirements. Yes, just our grant-funded courses right now we offer only in the fully online options,
So
but the department itself does offer both.
So if somebody were to transfer to the scholarship to get a full associate's degree, they would want to be close enough to Bristol to be able to access those.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'm actually going to go out of order now, and I'm going to call you up, Susan, next for Massasoit because your slide, and then I'll take the slides down, and you'll have a turn, Kathy. You're up, Susan.
Now I'm unmuted. Thank you, Sarah, and thank you to everybody for coming tonight. I'm excited to be here. I tell people that I worked at Massasoit before this grant and always thought Massasoit should be the hub for the area for professional development. And now I get paid money to be able to go out and find people to do that. So, so it's just really a privilege to be able to do it. All of our courses at Massasoit, until you get to the practicum level, can be accessed remotely. So remotely might mean asynchronous online, or it might mean synchronous with a Zoom meeting during the week. We find that there is a desire for both, so we try to offer both to give people the ability to choose the schedule and the modality that works best for them. You don't have to apply to the college in order to be able to take courses. So the first ones, if you want your teacher credential, your lead teacher, or your directors, one of them, or a CDA, you don't necessarily have to matriculate to Massasoit. You can take those courses through the grant and then apply to EEC for those credentials. If, though, we have a number of different certificates, we also have 2 different degree programs, you do need to apply to the college and you do need to matriculate for those. So the certificates we have are a lead teacher qualifying, a director qualifying, and an early childhood preschool certificate. And again, I've put the number of credits that they are there. We have 2 degree programs. One is the associate's degree program in early childhood education and administration. And that's for people that want their associate degree and they don't believe that they want to go on to a four-year school. The other degree program is the transfer option. And in that transfer option, there's lots more gen ed liberal arts classes so that when you get to the four-year school, you don't have to backtrack, that you can do a 2 at Massasoit and a 2 somewhere else. So I think that that's what I have. If anybody has any questions, we have a web page, a grant program page at Massasoit. I did throw the address into the chat. My contact information is on that page. On Friday, there will be a list of summer classes as well as a link to the summer application. And the application is 2 parts. First, you apply to the grant, and second, you register for classes. So in case you're supporting any of your teachers, please make sure that they don't feel like once they fill out that initial application, they're all set, that there's more to do. And we do it through email. So a lot of people these days don't use email. So if any of your educators are applying to this, please encourage them to check their email regularly because that's how we will communicate with them. So thank you.
Thanks, Susan. So any of those programs you list on the bottom that require matriculation, I believe will be covered by the ECE scholarship. I'm not sure about the 12 credits, but anything, the 18 credits and over will be covered by the ECE scholarship. So if you wanted to, if you're interested in any of those matriculated programs, Susan would help direct you to apply for the scholarship. And if you don't know what the scholarship is, you'll hear soon because it's going to open on April 1st, and I'll be doing more information sessions. So I'm going to stop sharing now, and I'm going to turn it over to Kathy Blackwell from Cape Cod Community College.
Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry I don't have a slide. I could not get a slide ready for this, so bear with me. I love how you guys put that together with the links on there. That was wonderful. I wish I had that. But anyway, at Cape Cod Community College, we also have the CDA Plus program. It includes coaching, portfolio work, exam. Everything is paid for, as well as the books. We have regular ECE classes. A few of them are online, but many are not. Many are high flex, meaning you can, that's what we call, I think, what you call asynchronous. So you can either be Zooming in or you can be in the classroom. So we have many classes that are offered that way. We have a Brazilian Portuguese sort of cohort. It's just sort of started, and right now they're offering 2 classes. That is all remote, and they're hoping to add another class, maybe for the summer, maybe in the fall. That's in the works. Just so you know, also, I'm not the director. I'm the interim. I'm the retention specialist. And we're in the process of getting a new director. So I'm doing my best I can to kind of be both people. But so the Brazilian Portuguese classes have been a pretty big hit, and the people are continuing to want to go on. So I don't think you have to be in this group of people to begin if you wanted to take Brazilian Portuguese. I think you can start and then go forward. But there are a group of people that have started together and are wanting to move forward. Through that program is, you do not have to apply to the college, the Brazilian Portuguese. But the regular grant classes, you do have to apply to the college either as a guest student or as a matriculating student. You don't have to be matriculating. You also have to be a Mass resident, as everyone does, and enroll in classes and then apply for the grant with the application. We provide laptops and books. I will drive them to people's work. I will drive them to people's homes Cape Cod is very long and far, as you know, and so I will drive those and then pick them up at the end of the semester. I do a biweekly newsletter with resources, child development information, campus things going on in the campus, library hours, all of that. And what else? We do have a quick term at Cape Cod Community College, which is that shortened, more intense version, but we have not had any early childhood classes in that in the last 2 years that I've seen. That could be maybe a step they might want to take, but I as of now, it is not. And so the high flex, we also offer teacher certificates for teacher, lead teacher, director 1 and 2. We also offer infant and toddler focus, and I think that's it. So I'm going to put my email in the chat. It's kblackwell@capecod.edu. I'll put that in the chat. And
if you want to send me, I can send out all the information tomorrow, Kathy, in an
Okay.
email to all the participants. I can send your email. If you have any links that you want people to be aware of, if you send them
That'd
to
be
me,
great.
I'll put them in the follow-up email. I'll send out all information about the 3
I
colleges.
definitely will. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. And yes, Kathy is pinch hitting because Cape Cod Community College is currently having a search for their career pathways grant director. So thank you, Kathy, especially for filling in tonight and talking about your college and providing the opportunity to everybody who's here. I just a word to everybody on the accelerated classes versus the full semester classes. I think there's an idea sometimes that you get it done quicker and it's easier in the short semester classes, but it's still a full semester worth of work and a full semester worth of reading and a full semester worth of information. It's just in half the time. So you might get done quicker, but you're going to be working harder, I would say, versus the full semester classes are still hard and keep you busy, but are a little bit of a slower pace. Also a word about the different modalities. I also think that people get really excited about the asynchronous classes, and I think they've been they're really great for our workforce and people who don't necessarily have the time for an in-person type of meeting in the evening after work when they're exhausted. And they want to sit with their camera off like we are tonight. But they require a lot of like self-pacing and self-direction because they're easy to fall behind in. And you kind of have to keep yourself on track versus the other classes where you're meeting more face-to-face and having those conversations in real time versus having classes, answering questions on a Blackboard type of situation. So, but we're lucky there's a little bit of everything for everybody. And it's really best to pick the best type of modality for you as a learner. And with that, we are happy to answer questions. I can answer questions. The grant coordinators can answer questions about their specific schools. So you're welcome to come off mute or put it in the chat if anybody has questions. Somebody must have a question.
I do have a question.
Hi.
So, hi, I've been doing all my classes in Urban College, but I live in Bellingham. So I don't know if I can still take in the classes there because what I hear is like, it's not convenient to move from college to college.
It works okay if you're just transferring from one college to one other college but what you would want to do is you would want to talk to the folks at the college where you want to go and make sure that you're credits will transfer, that they'll accept your credits before
Okay.
you make the decision. Because if you've worked hard to complete classes, you don't want to lose any of those credits.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
does anybody know which college is Bellingham? Do you know which college is closest to you, Gabriella?
No, I don't know. And
Give me-
I was kind of checking on the,
Give me
like-
1 second. I can look it up. I can look
No,
it up for
thank you.
us.
I was looking to the distance, but Cape Cod is an hour and 15 minutes.
Hold on.
And
Bellingham, you say?
yes,
Bellingham. You're actually closest in the catchment area of Mass Bay Community College, which isn't here tonight,
Mhm.
but I can give you their contact information.
okay.
And so you would want to talk to Linda Romero at Mass Bay. And if you send me an email to remind me tomorrow, Gabriella, I will give you information about Mass Bay Community College.
Okay.
If you're at Urban College and it's working for you and you don't need to do anything in person, you can stay at Urban College.
So the other thing that, because the classes that I have left is math and like some of the, I already finished all the early childhood education, so they said that they're not gonna be covered by the grant.
Are
so-
you trying to get an associate's degree?
Yes.
You should, and you work in the field?
Am I
You-
work what?
You work in a childcare center or family childcare center or after school?
Yes, I do have my own daycare.
Okay, so we can connect tomorrow because I believe that you would be eligible for the ECE scholarship, which should cover the classes that you need, the math and science and English classes that you need. So if you send me an email tomorrow just to jog my memory, we can set up a time to talk, or we can email back and forth and I can help you.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anne, you have your hand up?
Hi, everyone. My name is Annie. I am from Little People's College. We have 7 schools, and we have relationships with all 3 of the colleges that are on the line today. They've been tremendously supportive and responsive to our needs for many years now. And so I just wanted to publicly thank them for that, and for all the supports they've really gone over and above for a lot of our staff. One of the questions that we have is for staff that are moving from grant to scholarship,
Mhm.
is there a coordinated process that happens at the college level for that? Are they actively moving staff in that direction?
So grant coordinators should be working with educators who want to move beyond the grant classes toward an associate's degree to apply for the scholarship. So they're not technically like connected services, but they work together in tandem. So students who are registered, enrolled, and connected and working with colleges should reach out to the grant coordinator or to their instructor at the college and say, I want to get my associate's degree. Can you help me with the ECE scholarship? And that should help the process. Grant coordinators don't always know who wants to continue on. Sometimes they do, hopefully they do, but they don't always know. So sometimes they just need to be informed that a particular student wants to move on toward the associate's degree, and then they can help them with the application. And I'll be doing a bunch of information sessions similar to this after April 1st, helping people with the ECE scholarship application.
Okay, that's great. We
Did
also
that
help
answer
our
your
staff with
question?
that. It does.
Okay.
We were under the impression that the goal was to kind of move them there sooner. So that helps to clarify
Every college, I
the
mean,
goal there.
every college will do it a little bit differently. There's limited amounts of funding for career pathways. So if they know somebody is going to go for their associate's degree, they might encourage them to apply for the scholarship even when they have early childhood classes left to take, because the scholarship will cover everything. And so if they know somebody is going for their associates, the best use of resources to help them apply for the scholarship, and that frees up career pathways funds for other people who aren't necessarily going for their associate's degree. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. That was kind of what I was kind of going
Yeah.
for.
So, I
Um,
mean, there's no pressure to do it. We encourage everybody to do it, but as you know, it's not required. So, but they might be asked if they've already established that they're in an associate's degree program or want to, they might be encouraged to apply for the scholarship at any point to help make the best use of limited resources.
Okay. One more question, if you
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
Yeah, and
Is there
then
any
you can speak, Susan. Go ahead, Ann.
is there any priority for educators that are currently working in the field? Is there any type of prioritization that the coordinators are going by to first service those that are working in the field?
I will let the coordinators answer that. Susan, you can go ahead because you wanted to say something anyway. So why don't you're on mute.
We absolutely do try to make sure that people who are working have a priority. And usually we're able to do that. But this past time for the spring semester, I was saying to Kathy when we first got on, between November 1st and Thanksgiving, I had over 300 applications. We were flooded. So we're trying to do that again. We're opening it up again this time. But also, and I may be one of those people that was saying to anyone who was in the Career Pathways program, oh, you should apply for the career or for the EEC scholarship in order to try to free up some of the Career Pathways money for more people, so that the more people we can get onto the scholarship, then that makes more room in the Career Pathways money. And like that, there are some people that just aren't eligible for the scholarship. Maybe they already have an associate's degree in another field, so they're not eligible to apply to get their associate degree with the scholarship. So I hope that answers the questions that you had.
Thanks, Susan. Hold on, Elizabeth, I'll get to you in 1 minute. Heidi, do you have a prioritization process?
So we do usually cater first to the folks who are in the field, although we do allow folks to, of course, enroll and apply whether they are currently working or looking to be working in the field.
And Kathy, do you have a prioritization process?
I don't do the applications, the director does, but I've not heard of a prioritization. I think it's first come, first serve.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think a lot of places it's first come, first serve, because almost, I would say 95% of career pathways students are working in the field. We actually wish there were more people not working in the field so that we could be building up the field and getting more people in, but it tends to be almost always the people who apply are working in the field. And so I think a lot of grant coordinators tend to fall back on first come, first serve, or people who are toward the end and completing something. But we are just at a time where there is a lot more demand right now popping up, and everybody's working really hard to try to meet it the best that they can with limited resources. Thanks for waiting, Elizabeth. Or iPhone Day, Elizabeth. Did you have your hand up? Do you have a question?
Buenas noches para todos. Me presento, mi nombre es Elizabeth, yo pertenezco a una cooperativa que se llama Resplandor. Nosotras somos un grupo de 8 mujeres que trabajamos en la educación infantil. En este momento todas estamos trabajando en diferentes centros de cuidado infantil, pero pronto vamos a abrir nuestro propio centro cooperativo. Hemos tomado algunas clases en el Urban College. Por falta de recursos, algunas de nosotras no hemos podido terminar, pues no hemos podido hacer el asociado, que es nuestro sueño. Y me gustaría saber bueno, no entiendo muy bien cuál es el procedimiento. Nos tocaría hablar con el Urban College para ver si podemos aplicar a esta subvención y lo podemos hacer de manera cooperativa porque como nosotros somos una cooperativa, somos, como les dije, 8 mujeres que hacemos parte de este sueño de Resplandor. Quiero saber si podemos aplicar como una cooperativa para este grant de educación. Gracias.
Are you speaking in English, Katya? Because I can't hear your I can't hear your interpretation.
Creo que no puedo
I
escucharles.
can hear them.
I can hear the question in Spanish, but I can't hear the English.
Oh, I can hear the translation. Yeah.
You did? Maybe I have to go into the English room.
Yes.
I did what I told everybody not to do. I'm sorry, Katya.
Can you hear me now?
Now I
Yeah.
can.
Oh,
Can you
I
give me
felt
a
terrible.
summary? I'm sorry.
Okay.
The
Um,
summary is really just like whether or not, sorry, everybody.
yes.
Thanks, Ellen.
The group, should they go to Urban College as a group to see if they could find courses to finish their associate's degree, which is their dream, or should they be going to the colleges? The only thing I would say to that is that I think in the translation, and please correct me if I'm wrong, there are 8 educators looking for a course, and sometimes it's really hard to have 8 seats in a class. That's the only thing that's one thing we'd have to be careful about.
I believe I got an email from someone in your group and have responded to her with all of the colleges that offer classes in Spanish. So if you want to email me tomorrow, I'm happy to send you that same chart with all the colleges. And I have a couple of notes. If you, and I will say, I said this in my email, and Ellen, you can chime in too. In order to get a full associate's degree, you will have to transition to taking classes in English because there aren't any colleges here that will go all the way through the associate's degree in Spanish. There will be an English placement exam or test, and then there'll be like English courses and math courses and science courses that will be taught in English. Most of the colleges build that into their programs that are in Spanish. So they build in opportunities for folks to, learn English as well while they're supporting the Spanish. But even at Urban College, if you want to go for associates, at some point you will have to transition to taking classes in English. But if you send me an email, I am happy to send you that list, and you can reach out to the different colleges and find out what they can support you with. Any other questions? There have to be, because I get my inbox gets flooded with questions every day, so I know they're out there.
I'll ask a question again. So I'm sure that all the coordinators can attest to the fact that directors are definitely in the mix, and it's challenging because, there's so much for a new educator to know, and just navigating through it. They're working all day. They're not checking their email during the day, really, unless they're like on a break or something. And so we're trying to get them information early so they can, access the courses, and we're trying to kind of translate for them, because a lot of times they've never been to college before. They don't know, the process. They don't really understand how important it is to act soon. They don't really know what they're getting themselves into. They don't realize how difficult some of these courses are going to be. And so we're trying to provide that information to them. And so for providers out there, I know I've reached out to coordinators quite a bit, and I wonder if, there's a better way for providers to get information, because we really are, I don't want to say hand holding, but I kind of want to say hand holding. We've offered our facilities for them to do their work in. We offer our printers for them if they want to print something out. Sometimes they really do like to print things out and look at it. We have, held out, office hours after hours so they can all come together as a group and study and work together. But sometimes it's difficult because we're not really in the mix. And
Susan,
so I
you
think,
raised sorry, Ann.
no, I just think that maybe if we had some more awareness or some information about the individual courses, we could provide more support and really help them be more successful.
Well, I'm going to turn it over to Susan, but I'm going to say thank you for supporting your educators that way and providing them space and opportunities to learn and work in your space and use your printer and get support from you. I agree with you that for most of these educators, this is their first time in college. And so all of those things that you offer them to be successful are wonderful. Susan raised her hand, so I'm going to turn it over to her if you want to answer the question, Susan.
Yes and no, I think. What I would like to say, Annie, is that if you have a brand new person and they need to do that child development class plus 9 months, and you have that 9 months to work with them, I have to tell you, I would really suggest starting them with intro to early ed before development, because you have that 9 months anyways. In the 9 months, they can do intro first and then do development. Intro, or sometimes it's called foundations, is a much lighter lift than development. So if you're trying to ease them in, build their confidence, and you have the luxury of a little bit of time. And I know I was a director for over 20 years. Sometimes you don't have that luxury, and I get that. But if you do, I think that is a way to introduce them to college, get them a little more used to what college is like, get them used to, sometimes they had gone to college in the past, but they didn't have a full-time job at the same time. So just being able to figure out that balance, it just buys them a little bit of time and it eases them into it, instead of starting right off with child development, which is just a really demanding course. And we do have a tutor that will work with them, but many of them don't feel like they have the time to work with the tutor, although they don't, if they don't have the time to have the tutor, they sometimes don't have the time to take it again. So that's, I guess, my words of wisdom, for so to speak, for you. And then some of the other things, we have an early childhood department page, and we also have a grant page, grant program page. But I don't know that they necessarily link, and perhaps it would be helpful to you, Annie, if they did, so that you could go back and forth from the department information to the grant information. So I just thank you for bringing that up, and that's something I can talk to our communications team about exploring.
Thanks, Susan. Kathy?
Yeah, I read a lot about the 15 colleges this summer. I did like a comparison for a professor, and I think I saw out in Greenfield or somewhere in Western Mass that they provided English classes through the grant. Is that something that could be, if they're going 9 months and they're, some kind of English help?
Yes. And some colleges do offer that. They offer like writing support if
Yeah.
the person is not a native English speaker, reader, and writer. Sometimes they will take an ELL course first. And so each college does it a little bit differently, but we can certainly talk about that, Kathy, and what would be best for Cape Cod. But EEC is definitely invested in supporting educators to be successful college students. And so a lot of colleges, and we'll be working on this with the colleges throughout the year, are encouraging kind of like taking a first year experience course, which introduces educators to what college courses are like. And Kathy, we can find a time when we meet next week. We can talk more about that for sure.
Great.
I don't know if do you want to chime in, Heidi?
I was actually just going to mention something close to what you were just discussing, Sarah, because that was one of the newest things that we've tried to implement and offer for folks that especially have never taken courses in the past. We offer what is listed as EDU 101. So it's the College Success Seminar for Education. This way to try to get some of the individuals more involved and even just used to the layout of the course spaces themselves, especially having online courses. But although we've been offering it, we don't have much interest in it, which we thought was going to really have a big uptake in that course. And so it's like, as much as we try to offer those extra supports, we can't seem to really get folks wanting to be involved in them, as well as trying to bring on an academic mentor who helps with all of the career pathways students. They have actually tried to hold some different workshops and seminar sessions, just trying to even help out with things like like study skills and just forming some good habits as being especially a new student. And as much as we advertise some of those different supports, they're not always followed through. And so we're really trying to find where is that happy medium, because we know that the folks do need the additional supports, but at the same time, we can offer things as as much as we are able to. But if we can't get them to follow through, we're not too sure of, how are we able to continue to assist. And so we wish that folks would really take advantage of some of those additional supports that we're able to offer.
That's a great point, Heidi. We do have some educators in the new EDU 101. I do think it's important to require it.
Yes.
Because they're not going to take that on their own. Oftentimes they're applying late and they don't have the time to do it, but I think it's really important, or maybe just like a mini course before child development. I know that, our educators are doing workshops quite frequently during the month. They also have staff meetings at night. They also have families. And so the earlier that they can find out about workshops and academic supports, and having some more flexibility in the evenings, I know that they really appreciate when there's a little bit more flexibility and a little bit more notice. Not to say that's the case for Bristol. It's just, I know that they've kind of said there's been conflicts for some of the course supports.
Oh, thank you for that feedback. We're always looking for it, because like I said, especially with some of the newer items that we've tried to implement, and we wish that we could have a higher success rate with it, and we don't understand why we're not. So I love the feedback.
Or maybe like a pre-recorded, intro or some kind of support that they could watch later on if they couldn't be there on that particular day.
I do know that Bristol also does offer a self-paced, it's part of our online learning component itself, that they're actually able to get even a certificate in making sure that they're able to access all the different parts of our online space, which is offered as soon as students get registered within their confirmation emails. That's something else that we've just really struggled with, having folks really wanting to get involved in, even though it's extremely beneficial. So there are definitely those additional supports out there. Like I said, we're always trying to push them as much as possible. So again, thank you. I will continue to try to get folks involved in it just a little bit more.
I want to be mindful of everyone's time. It is 7:31. I want to let our amazing interpretation team from Fox Translation go if they need to, with a big thanks. There doesn't seem to be a lot of questions. I'm happy to stay on for a few more minutes if anybody has questions. Anybody that needs to jump off should feel free to jump off, including grant coordinators. I did also want to just mention, so, thank you to anybody who is here and needs to leave. I will turn interpretation off now so that we can say goodbye and thank you to our wonderful interpreters. Thank you so much.
Adios.
Boa noite, moça.
Boa noite a
Okay,
todas.
good
Obrigada.
night. Muchas gracias a todos.
Obrigada a todos. Tenham uma boa noite.
I did want to say for any directors that are here, everybody's hopping off, but it's the sharing of information is a little tricky. Like generic information can be shared about the course, but no student information can ever be shared between the grant coordinator or anyone at the college and the director because there are confidentiality requirements. So, but certainly I think there can be conversations about the best ways to support students in being successful in the classes because we all have that same end goal in mind. Any other last questions before we pop off? Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, colleges, for being here. I will send out follow-up materials tomorrow. Susan, Kathy, Heidi, Amy, send me anything that you want me to include in a follow-up that I might not already have.
Okay, thanks so much, Sarah. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Have a good
Thank you
night.
so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.